Hello there, Capricorn, and welcome to your August forecast. I hope everybody is doing great and that your month is getting off to a really good start. As you probably know, we just finished up a retrograde, and Mercury retrogrades, even for the best of us, can provide a little bit of challenge. I do find them, at least personally, a very healing experience because a lot of times what you need to deal with, it comes through like it or not, and you leave feeling sort of cleansed and detoxed. So I hope that that happened for a lot of you. As we enter into August, the good news is most of that baggage is gone. There is a little bit of a shadow though during the first 7 to 12 days, and I'm here to help you out with that. In fact, I'm giving you a bonus at the beginning of this. You're going to still get your sign-specific information, but one thing that I've been doing for all 12 zodiac signs this month is sharing some insight that I got for the month of August and how you can counter the energy of the shadow. I think that this is very much a transmutable or kind of alchemic energy, so I see it again as advantageous, and it's very weak at the beginning of this month. So really what you're getting a chance to do is wrap things up, plant some new seeds, and for some of you, you might actually notice that you have heightened intuition. So what I did before doing all videos this month is I meditated and I just tuned into the energy of the month and kind of looked at it from a bird's eye view to see how it would affect everyone, almost like a big umbrella. And what I saw were two very clear symbols coming through, and for each sign I'm giving you a little bit of a fine-tuned version of how it will relate to you. So the first symbol that I saw was the moon itself. For your sign in particular, what I'm getting is that this could bring up some emotional sensitivity, some moodiness, and then on the bright side, actually some enhanced intuitive ability. To help work through that emotional component, I think exercise and meditation are really important. And if you can do some sort of a combination of the two, whether it's yoga or martial arts or something like that, even better. This is going to let you get all of the sort of energetic kinks out of your body, and also anything that you're holding on to in your chakra system, it's going to be blasted out and you'll be able to be very clear, clean, and then you can receive the energy from the moon and also the second symbol that I saw, which was the magician. But let's finish up with the information from the moon. So heightened emotional sensitivity is one thing that I think you're going to notice, heightened intuition, and then if there was anything that you didn't resolve last month, my advice is to act now and really get ahead of the fact that it's probably going to re-emerge this month. You want to be proactive, you want to resolve things, you really want to kind of create this nice clean slate. Once you've done this, I feel like your intuition is going to be in a really, really good place. And the main challenge that most signs are going to have this month is not listening too much to the practical side. If you ever look at the moon card, you'll notice that there are two figures on either side. There's a wolf and there's a dog, and then there's water and a hill that kind of goes up into the distance. Those two animals, that's going to represent the two sides of your psyche, or the two kind of warring factions within you, where you know you should or shouldn't do something, but practicality, peer pressure, or the world around you is just sort of saying, no, do this. I want you to really trust how you feel on the inside, your heart and your soul. Allow that to be your compass this month, and you will be able to avert danger, even if that means walking a path not traveled or a path on your own. Both of these options are preferable to having regrets later for not listening to yourself. So really clearing your energy, listening to intuition, and then honoring that. That's a big opportunity and lesson for all signs this month. Once you've done that, I also see the energy of the magician coming through. One thing I think for your sign you want to pay attention to doing is to focus and to limit some of the noise in your environment. That means not only kind of like what you're listening to, but who you're spending time with, how you're spending your time, and knowing that the more you can channel into one cause or one sort of outcome, the more likely it is to be successful. So your clear mind and your clear focus is going to be essential to success, and you'll have a chance to also use the energy of both the moon and magician to heal old relationships, to recover from some of the mistakes you might have made last month, and to open up a really clear space within your heart so that new relationships that come in are going to be positive aspects of like the moon, which would be honesty, the elimination of any sort of illusions, and sensual and creative. That's really what you want to open up to, is that sort of energy this month. Overcome your fears, trust your intuition, channel your energy into one or two things, and then open up the creative channel so that you can focus on things that really matter, that are near and dear to your heart. That is how you can work through this shadow period. Some people kind of get freaked out with it. I don't. I feel like for me anyway, the energy is a lot lighter. And for you, I think if you focus on following some of the advice that I just gave you, this will not be a big deal. And you can really start to focus on the middle of the month and see what's coming through for August. To that end, why don't we get now into the sign-specific portion of this forecast? I'd like to start off first by saying thank you to everybody that's a return viewer. I know a lot of you have been around since the beginning, and it means so much that you've been here for 5 or more years. I just want to say thank you and welcome back. And if you're brand new, a nice warm welcome as well. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this is how I organize my reading every month. I like to begin with channeled information. I gave you an example of some of what that might be like, but I'm going to do some sign-specific information just for you in a minute, so please stick around for that. After I do the channeled information, then I use the cards that I've chosen for your sign, and I pull a Celtic cross. This is very organic, and I like to let it take us wherever we need to go, showing the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens. Then I make sure that I highlight certain areas that all of you have voted on as key areas of focus, which are health, wealth, love, and destiny. This is your expanded forecast, and this really gives you a nice deep dive into everything available for the month ahead. As always, you can use this for your sun, your rising, and also for your moon sign. And if there's someone in your life that you love and care about, you can watch it on their behalf. If you don't happen to know sun, rising, and moon, then just stick with your birth sign, and that's going to give you all the information that you need. So if you like what you see today, and I hope you do, please stick around until the very end. In addition to summarizing everything, I will give you a closing word, and I'll also let you know how you can give back to the channel. This is all fan supported, so there's a lot of ways you can give back, including, of course, just liking and subscribing or joining me on social media, but you can also book an appointment or do a contribution, whether it's one time or continuing. I'll get into all of those details and give you all of that link information at the very end, but right now, let's focus on you and look at the channeled information for August. As I meditated over your cards this month, what came through for me actually was the heart space itself. And I just heard in my head that it was important for you to really stay true to yourself. And I think for you, that is really meaning that your heart is going to be your compass this month. So if something comes through and it just doesn't feel right, it just doesn't sound right, I want you to honor that, like we talked about in the overview, that umbrella channeled information. But for your sign in particular, you need to find something that really makes your heart sing. Because it was almost as if my ears were ringing a little bit as I tuned into this. So for some of you, there may be some sort of musical element, or you're going to hear something and it's going to make your heart sort of jump a beat. It could be the voice of a friend. It could be an idea that someone gives you. I want you to pay attention to those two centers of your body. Your ear chakras, there's chakras there as well, and your heart. So if you feel something really open up in those spaces this month when you read, hear, listen to, or engage with something, I want that to be a big indicator to you that you're on the right path. The other thing is, I wrote down just to stay true to who you are. So I think that, as I was mentioning earlier with the imagery of the moon card, peer pressure is something you need to try to avoid this month. And if you also see somebody else that isn't getting supported, you can also step in as an advocate this month. Because when you sort of set that into motion, that idea that for yourself and for others, there's no appetite for being pushed around, you're going to start to create this energy that you are a strong person. You're going to call in people that respect that strong energy. And no longer will people try to be sort of getting in between the cracks. This is going to help you across the board in relationships, in work situations, and also just in your general health. You might even notice that you're holding your posture differently, etc. So stay true to yourself, listen to your heart. Also, for some of you, there might be something opening up around the ears as well. So when you hear something, when you feel something, I see some sort of a combination between the two. If you happen to be a musician, then you might find that this is a very inspirational month and you're just coming up with stuff. The other thing, whenever I kind of feel an opening in the ear chakra, is that you might be having a guide, a muse, or some sort of an ascended master kind of whispering inspiration into your ear. And it doesn't always come through as clairaudient information. You're not always going to hear the voice. But what you might have is very strong ideation this month. So if you're asked to brainstorm, or if you're just sitting around, all of a sudden you get these really big ideas and you think, I got to do something about this. I want you to follow that, because I think some of you are being guided and being nudged by your higher self, by your ascended guides and masters, and also by angelic presences. So again, you will be able to tell because it feels good. Your heart's going to really kind of skip a beat when you get this idea. And for some of you that are really advanced clairvoyants, you may actually be able to hear some of that as well. So as I said, heightened intuition, not necessarily a bad thing, and I'm definitely getting that for many of you. At the very least, I want you to stay true to what you want to do. Follow your own path. Again, meditate on the moon card this month because it's come through so strongly for everyone. You'll see that road leads off into the distance and it's lit by the moon. So just be guided by your inspiration and your heart and you can't go wrong, okay? Let's go ahead now and look at the cards themselves. I'm going to remain quiet at this point because I like to observe the positioning of the cards and see the images. At that point, I also get some additional information as well. Right after we pull that Celtic cross, then I will lift each and every card up afterwards to talk about how it's going to relate to you in the month ahead. All right, Capricorn, you got a great message here. It says navigation by the stars, follow your bliss. And it reminds me a lot of staying true to yourself and really focusing on that heart-centric view, like I said. The other thing that is wonderful is we did get the moon card here, so you don't have to go into your own deck to look at what I was talking about to meditate. Notice how we see the same road in both of them. And I was talking about traveling down a path that may not be well traveled. It might be this month where you have to sort of break free from a situation. And we saw death in reverse at the center, so I do think that some of you might be moving on, moving up, moving out, some sort of a shift going on. But I wanted you to look at the imagery here on these two cards. And for a second, let's just look at the moon. You see the wolf and you see the dog, and you're being guided. This is you. This is your higher self in this situation. So know that it may be a difficult choice at hand, but if it feels good, it's okay. One thing that I'd like to mention is that we have a waxing and a waning crescent here. I believe that those are the moments just before the new moon and just after the new moon. So this is an important period for you to pay attention to, and you can look at the calendar and see where that falls in your geography. I think that in these periods, you're going to have the most ability to, as I said earlier, kind of transmute or shift the energy in your life, and this is where your intuition may be its sharpest. For just one moment, I wanted to pull the camera down and illustrate what I see as three potential messages, and I'll take my time in describing them later, but I want to highlight the path right now. When I'm looking at the Death card reverse and Devil in the Deep Past, this is showing me that there is some unresolved issues with something that you need to shift in your life right now. There's still some work being done. There's still some trust that needs to be established. There's a lot of energy around relationships. We have the 10 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, and the Queen of Cups, not to mention a card of lack of clarity with the 7 of Cups. So what I'm looking at for some of you is with the Devil, this can be an issue of truth or lies that came through in the past, and then possibly a third party that's entering in and driving a wedge between you and someone that you love. So you need to kind of revisit, can I trust you? Do we have that equal footing when it comes to I have your back, you have my back, and this other person's not in the picture anymore? Some of you are still doing some healing, and that's why Death is reversed. Speaking of healing, this can also be a health issue. So if you had an injury in the past, you could be working through the recovery right now. The Moon card shows slow but steady, but you have to take care of yourself. And for some of you, I'm looking at you want to make sure that there's no swelling. With all of these Cups cards, it can indicate swelling or something going on with like water or blood. So you need to definitely work with the doctor if you're seeing any swelling or any clotting issues. For issues of sobriety or detoxing your body here, the Devil shows a challenge in the past, possibly an addiction. 3 of Cups shows a temptation, especially when the moon is here. And I think most of it just comes with a passing thought. I'm not actually seeing you fall back into that. The key thing for you is just to stay strong and focused and to not let an emotional trigger in your life pull you away from this decision, which looks like it was kind of grounded in friends, family, and support. So just a couple things I had to call your attention to rather, because there's so much information that's rushing through this spread. I'm going to now take it one card at a time so it's not so overwhelming. But I did see a couple messages, like I said, with health, with addiction, and for some of you with jobs, this is a chance for you possibly to leave a job and move on. All right, let's do one card at a time so you're not feeling overwhelmed. All right, let's start with your center card here. We have Death reversed. For many of you, this is showing that there needs to be some change in your life. Something has to shift. This is a card of stagnation. And the thing is, as we look in deep past, there is a knowledge that a change has to happen or should have happened. And right now, you already know what you need to do. You're probably watching today and getting a nudge in the right direction. When we're looking at what crosses this, it's showing that the effort being put into it, by the way, it's Five of Wands. We're seeing that the effort that you're putting into the current situation, whether it's a job or a relationship or a path to sobriety, that you're kind of not making the progress that you want. And you probably need some support. The Ten of Cups in the crowning position gives you that key on how you can fix it. So no matter what is kind of lagging or slowing down, this is the way to success. Help, communication with friends and family, and leaning on that support team. That's the closest friends in your life, whether it's literally your family or your chosen family. They are there for you and they can help you out. The Devil in the deep past. This is something, first of all, for your sign, this can just be an indicator for you because the Devil is Capricorn. But when we look at what it can also indicate, it's temptations that you've moved beyond. And I think one of the first things that I would say is just forgive yourself. If there's anything that you've done over the past year or something and you wish you could hit, rewind, control alt delete and kind of restart, it doesn't work that way in our lives. And we go through those experiences for a reason. I talked to another sign about that today. And so I think that it's going to be really important for you to simply look at the lesson that you learned, think about how much stronger you are now, and remember why you don't want to repeat that path. That's going to be very key for you. In the recent past, we have the Five of Swords. This can be a breakdown in communication. It can also be a situation where an argument is not going to be beneficial. If you don't trust someone, if you don't trust yourself, if it's just kind of feeling exhausting right now, you feel like you're working yourself to death and talking yourself to death in a situation, this is where, again, you need to seek some sort of outside counsel or help. In the case of a job, it could also be human resources. But the key thing for you is that help is there. There's a helping hand. Don't be afraid to reach out and initiate that and engage that help somehow. The biggest thing for everybody this month under this sign is the near future is challenging. That is mostly because the Three of Cups was reversed. In its upright position, it's a reason to celebrate. It can often be a party or a milestone that you're hitting, or just a chance to meet someone new. It can mean that love's coming into your life. The reversal of it can show a gossip, it can show a clique, it can also show difficulty breaking through or communicating to a group of people. Don't let someone's gossip or negativity pull you out of that really heightened mood, because I think that's where it's going to, for some of you, go astray. I keep seeing a third party coming in, and they're either not able to celebrate your success, or perhaps they're simply not willing or able to share the limelight. And if that's the case, you know that you're better off without that energy, and you can just count your blessings that that person may not be a big part of your life anymore. The other thing with the Three of Cups in reverse is to really turn the lens, and also I would say turn the volume down a little bit, but turn the lens inward and focus on your intent, your goals, your dreams. The way that you're going to become stronger, that you're going to overcome anything with health, with finance, with relationships, is to trust your heart and soul. That's back to what I said way at the beginning. For me, the Two of Wands in reverse in the ego is saying that this is your chance to reset and focus. You notice that they're holding the world in their hands. Whatever it is you're trying to bring about, you're going to be able to do, but only if you stay centered on that vision. And I think for some of you, there's been a trigger, an emotional trigger this month, and all that you have to do is to acknowledge the source of the trigger and to kind of let that go. Because if you can flip this card around, Queen of Cups upright is super creative and is really engaging and warm-hearted, and you want to really embrace that side of that energy as well. And for that friend that may not be able to be there for you, let's flip this one around as well. I want you to just let it roll off your back like rain and celebrate whoever is there that night. And if it's you, just smile and move on. The Three of Cups is a gracious host. You're not going to let this person ruin your night. Moving along to your opportunities. This is where the strength of the month lies. We have the Seven of Cups, which is going to be your key to coming up with innovation, new ideas, brainstorming, seeing something from a different perspective. And this is where your guide could be sort of whispering in your ears, some sort of a big new idea. Let your creativity take you on a new path. For some of you, you might be deciding to leave a relationship, quit a job, move. This card is showing that a change needs to happen, and you're going to have help and support if you're going to go down that path. And if you don't, or if you want to do it on your own, it's okay, because again, you're being illuminated by your desire, your soul's path, and sometimes we have to kind of take a chance and take a risk. And I think in that case, it's going to be okay, because it's going to open you up to new opportunities. I want to go one last time through the spread and talk about how you can be positive with each of these cards, because there was a lot of dense energy. So with Death reversed, the main message for you is to stay optimistic and to be ready to make the change. Just because a change is coming through doesn't mean it's a bad change. Don't give up on the work that you've done, and don't let others make you question your validity for doing it. If you're just not feeling supported and there's no path to get to the next level, whether it's a relationship or a job, it's time to move on. Mistakes are mistakes, but they actually are the building blocks to future success. So that is a good thing. Don't ever feel like you have to undo a failure in the past. Every successful business person has gone through a period where they've made major mistakes, but they're better for it, and so are you. With communication, pick and choose your battles. It's not always worth getting in an argument with someone. You have a lot more people on your side than you understand this month. That's what I would focus on. One bad person in your group of friends doesn't mean that everything is going wrong. Just tune that person out. Also, gossip is gossip. The more you climb the ladder and the more effective you are in your life, the more you're going to draw criticism. So you don't really want to let this one critical point pull you down. You're doing great, and it's not worth your time and energy. That's what I would say here. You have great ideas. Get back to those. Focus on you. Focus on the future. That's all that matters. Honor your emotions. Find a way to channel them. Eventually get to the place where that sensitivity is serving you, especially when it comes to being sensitive to insight and ideas. Use that passion, and that's going to draw people and new opportunities into your life. That's also going to help you get a new job, a new love interest, or just be happier again. So whatever shifts you have to make this month, you leave better for it. The moon was the main thing that I was seeing when I was focusing on your sign and all signs. So I think it's great that it's in the outcome. It means that you're being guided to a better tomorrow. And the changes that are happening, even if they're uncomfortable, they're going to be for the better, and they're going to help you avoid whatever this was in the past, okay? Overall, a good month. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the health card, which is multifaceted. This is your mind, body, and spirit. We'll give the cards a shuffle and see what the message is. So as we look at your health card, we have, I believe she's an Egyptian goddess of healing, Sekhmet, but the caption says reduction. And so for you, this month, the key is to really get rid of distractions, to clear your space, to clear your mind through meditation, again, through actual manual cleaning of the space, and know that in general, healing and recovery is possible. But you have to believe in it, and you have to make it your focus, and that's why this card was reversed. So as long as you stay committed to your healing, you're going to be fine. And as long as you kind of reduce some of those things that would be considered an excess, and those excesses in food, in drink, and in also any sort of controlled substances, you really want to let that stuff go this month and just be as pure and as clean as possible. Instead, focus your energy on your potential projects, what you want to do. There's a lot of productivity that you can channel and do something really great with. And again, like I said, that's going to make you happier, and it's going to pull in a healthier relationship or healthier types of friends and activities. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your wealth card. Wealth is not just money, but it's also how you feel about yourself, self-worth, and it's also whatever projects or opportunities are coming your way and how you are reacting to those. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see what the message is for you. As we look at wealth, there is an echo of what we've been focusing on the whole time today, which is staying true to yourself, following your bliss, and knowing that when your heart is activated, that new opportunities come through that. This card says, experiencing grace, share your gifts with grace, waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. I believe that when you work your passion, that really there is no stopping what you can do, and also you're going to be so much more effective and successful on that path than if you just sort of clock in and clock out. We all have points in our life where we have to, for some short amount of time, kind of stay in a job or a situation that really isn't satisfying. But with death and the Five of Wands, death reverse and the Five of Wands, for me it's showing that some of you really need to move past that moment, look for a plan B, and take the course of the next 6 to 8 months and figure out how to make it happen. Because when you can start to do what you truly love, then you're going to get recognized. You're going to feel excited about working. It's not going to feel like work to you. If you have to stay in a job, this could also be how you could get your escape route. It could be creating some sort of an endeavor, a creative endeavor, or a creative project, doing it on the side, and then getting someone to buy into that. So whether you are quite literally sort of moonlighting with some sort of secondary job or skill set, this could eventually become the main thing. So I want you to believe in that and honor it and really feed it, and I think that's going to be key. The other thing that I'm seeing when we're looking at wealth is it says share your gifts with grace. I think a message here is to not feel threatened by others. I mentioned that someone else in your midst may not be able to share the spotlight. One way that you could show them the light, so to speak, is simply to not be bothered by that, to continue to kind of live and work and exist with grace, because other people are going to pick up on the fact that you are confident, that you share your time, your skills, and your energy with others. And given the cards that I'm seeing, you're probably ready for the next step anyway, so why not leave with a really good sort of record and opinion of you? I remember I say this a lot, but it's worth repeating. I had a teacher once who was giving me advice when I was in a part of my life that I didn't really love, and I was doing some corporate work, and they just said, everything you do on this planet is a reflection of you. Don't do anything half-hearted. Make sure that everything that you do really matters, because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to look back at. And at the end of your life, I really believe that we are the judges of our own journey. So you don't want to kind of clock in on anything and not give 100%. I think that that's the best advice that I can give you, is give it your all, and you may be surprised at some of the opportunities that come through. And if you haven't shined before, there may be someone in the environment that is able to kind of help you out. Your friend circle, your family circle, or again, some sort of a connection that notices who you are and what you're doing. Positive words will get around just like the negative words. And so what you want to really do is build that reputation as someone that people can trust. Another way to state this is that success and accomplishment is the best way to sort of prove your point. Or I don't believe in sort of getting even. I just believe that if you are in a situation where someone doesn't understand who you are or what you're capable of, go show them what you can do, even if that means leaving and doing it somewhere else. That will get back to them, and karma has a way of sort of evening it out. So you never have to say something negative. You don't have to show anything other than, hey, I really am a valuable person, and look at what I've been able to accomplish. That's the higher road. And you're going to be developing yourself, which is important. So if I were to kind of assign this a card in tarot, it would probably be the Eight of Pentacles. That's self-development, and it's also training other people. You might take on an apprentice this month, or a mentee, someone that you can give a little bit of advice to. That will be a great way for you also to realize how much you have to offer as well. All right, let's go ahead now and move along to love and see what's coming through for all types of relationships in your life this month. So when we're looking at love, we're actually seeing a connection to your intuition. This is talking about what I said earlier, that some of you might be connected to ascended masters, angels, or your own higher self. And this is saying to basically talk to that higher self or that connection with divinity, especially if you're trying to either get clarity on your relationships or perhaps even start to meditate on the type of partnership that you'd like to bring in. Since this is a card about the divine, some of you may also choose to spend your time and energy just going down the path of spiritual development. Because this is a very sort of specific card, I also want to take a look at the other cards in front of us and talk about some other opportunities for those of you that might be single and looking, or single and happy, or in a relationship, just so that you can get some additional insights. For those of you that might be single and looking for love this month, the crowning card was the Ten of Cups, which definitely shows that that's at your disposal, but the challenge could be exclusivity. When I see the Three of Cups in reverse, there's often a question of one partner wanting to be exclusive and the other one maybe just wanting to be more casual or open in the relationship. So you definitely want to talk about that, because with the Moon card here in the outcome, this usually comes through when someone can't keep to a promise, or again is maybe not ready or willing to commit. So I think for this month, casual dating is definitely possible if you're looking for new love. Water signs, absolutely, because I've got the Moon and I also have the Queen of Cups card here, so you could have a very strong water sign in your midst. The other thing that I'm seeing is to just really be clear on what you're looking for. With the Seven of Cups, this can show that one of the challenges is, do you know what you want? Does your partner know what they want? And maybe in the course of the first few dates, you would want to kind of hash some of that stuff out, even though you don't want to get too serious too fast. Again, the energy here is just to kind of get to know them. But one thing that I'm seeing is it's a great time to meet people, but give it time. Maybe in a month or so, you can go a little bit deeper into that relationship. For those of you already in relationships, it's the issues of honesty, trying to avoid distractions from third parties, and if there's anything that you're afraid of or want to know, really just bring it up and possibly talk in therapy and find a way to kind of work through it. And for those of you that are single and happy, I see a lot of intuitive development and a lot of inspiration that could be coming through. And you could channel some of the pain or some of the frustration from the past into a very creative endeavor. So good energy no matter what, but a little frustrating for people that might be trying to find new love. I think this month it's much better to focus on cleaning and clearing up whatever's going on at work, possibly moving if that's something that you want to do, because that Death card in reverse is showing that some sort of a change needs to happen. And again, some of you could just be deciding to walk away from a situation because it's not fulfilling enough, because you don't have the honesty or the commitment that you need. So take it easy, spend more time with yourself and on yourself this month, and I think you're going to be in a good place. Remember again that you already have a very good connection to intuition this month. Trust it. And I think that's going to be the best thing that you can do. All right, let's look at your Destiny card and see if there's any additional messages on the path in which you're headed, or if there's other things that you can focus on to sort of be your best self this month. All right, it's very interesting that the outcome card shows music, and I mentioned earlier about the ear chakras coming into play somehow. So you may have a message that you even hear on the radio. I mentioned that intuition can work in curious ways. Sometimes you'll see a billboard, sometimes you'll read a license plate, and other times you'll hear music. And this can trigger some sort of a realization or your own intuition. And if that takes place this month, honor that and know that that's one more way that the universe can speak to you. You may also have a project that is directly related to the music industry or to making music, or we can kind of abstract this a little bit, and it's more about harmony, cooperation, and finding that common ground. So instead of getting involved in an argument, instead of sort of getting laden down by all the work or any of the gossip that's coming through, focus instead on that spirit of community, the common interest that everybody has, and really try to focus on what you can do together, what the opportunities are. I think this is going to be so much more powerful. Basically, the cooperation instead of divisiveness, that's really what harmony is showing you. But again, I really do want you to pay attention to what you hear. If it sounds good to you, because music to me, that harmony, it could just be that what someone says or how someone speaks, it sparks something within you. You really are sort of vibing with their energy. And if that happens, you really want to pay attention. That is a sign that this is something that you need to get involved with, or this is someone that has a message for you. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with a closing word. Your channeled message this month was to stay true to yourself. We saw a very similar sentiment in your catalyst, which says, follow your own bliss. And as we looked at the imagery between the moon card and navigating the stars, we saw two different crescent phases of the moon. Again, a reminder to pay special attention to your intuition and the messages that you receive during those periods. Your center card is showing that change needs to happen this month and that you're able to make that change happen. Really, your big opportunity is to step outside of stagnation. You've been working too hard in something and it's not paying off. Whether it's a health situation, a relationship, or work, something needs to shift in order to get to a place where you're satisfied and getting over fears or anxieties. For many of you, there's just a need to forgive yourself or someone else in the past and to realize that whatever the situation was that came through, you learned a great deal by it. Communication is something you want to be careful of this month. Pick and choose arguments and pick and choose the battles you want to fight. Really focus on trust as a central way to heal relationships. Your crowning card is the Ten of Cups, and that means that you can overcome whatever challenges we're seeing here simply by being transparent, communicative, and not giving into gossip or what other people are saying, especially if you can't validate the source. Remember this month that you have a lot of love and support, and it's touching everything that you do. All that you need to do is be able to reach out and to see past any sort of pain that you've experienced or someone might have caused in the past. That forgiveness not only is going to be a great healing element for you, but will allow for you to kind of refocus on what is possible. And I think this is the second big thing that you want to focus on this month in the ego. Two of Wands, setting goals, setting intentions, and also having a razor focus where you kind of tune out some of this other noise that we see here. It is a great month for ideation and brainstorming, and as I said earlier, you may have a muse or a higher sort of frequency guide working with you. Let that come through and guide you on the path that you need to go. Remember that some of you may be walking away from something, and as long as that feels authentic and good to you, then you are doing the right thing. You have to listen to your heart and soul. Healing is possible this month. We saw that in health. In wealth, it's about walking that higher path. Some of you may be a mentor this month as well, and realize that the more positive energy you put out there, the more you're going to attract future partnerships in work, in life, in love. As we look at love, speaking of love, use your own intuition to sort out what's going on. You already have a good feel for if you need to worry about a past situation showing up. We do have a diagonal here between the Devil, the Three of Cups, and the Moon. So if there's something that's bothering you, bring it up, try to somehow find a way to navigate that, and at the very least, find the answer to the question that's nagging you. That's going to give you the permission that you need to move out of the situation or to forgive that person and realize that there really wasn't something there that you had to worry about. Either way, it's the fear that needs to be alleviated, and if you can't get over the trust, then that's a bigger situation that may involve therapy or getting help from someone else. Ultimately, you have a choice this month. You have the ability to heal and fix something, but it has to suit you. The Harmony card is showing that, when it comes to personal relationships, people look at you. They sometimes even depend on you. So your word carries a lot of weight. I mentioned the ear chakras, and if you hear something either on the radio or even someone's spoken voice that really resonates with you on a heart and soul level, this person is important. There's something that you have to pay attention to. This is one of the signs and symbols coming through, and please pay attention to that. Remember what I talked about at the beginning. There's great creative energy, there's great intuitive energy, divine feminine energy. All of this can help you on your path. This path, you have a choice. You can take it with others or you can do it on your own, and it really is your choice. This is your crowning card, this is your outcome. So know that there is no wrong way to do this. All that matters is that it feels right and that your intuition says, yes, this is what I want. So this brings your monthly reading to a close, but I hope you got everything you needed today. There was so much that came through, especially with, there were a lot of major arcana cards that were really giving you rich information. Death Reverse, the Devil, and the Moon. Those are very powerful cards, and they are very appropriate for a retrograde shadow. So you have a chance this month to diffuse, move past those, and be so much happier on the path ahead. Everything this month is leading to bliss. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about what we were discussing today, or if maybe there's a bigger question about spiritual development, a job, a romantic situation, I would love to talk to you. You can click on the first card in the video or the first link right below. This will take you to my booking site where you can check out rates and availability. If that makes sense, I'd love to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing the appointment on my calendar. Otherwise, if you really liked what you saw here, and I hope you did, I put my heart and soul into it, there is a way that you can show your support. I mentioned at the beginning, everything here is viewer supported. I don't charge anything. I just kind of rely on your goodwill to continue going. So again, if you like what you see, consider clicking on the second card and the second link. That'll take you to my website, and there's a lot of different ways that you can give back. Don't be overwhelmed. There's really just 3 major ways that I can break down. The first is a one-time contribution. You can just decide to give $1. It can be for the whole year, or you can give a little bit more if your budget allows. You can also choose to do a continuing contribution, and that's through Patreon or even here now through YouTube using the join button. So any of those methods work, and they all make a really big impact on the health of this channel because they allow me not only to continue to buy really cool supplies like this, but they help me carve out the time that I need to do this. On months when it's a little later, it's because I've had to fill up my schedule with appointments. On months that I can get it out sooner, it's because I've received a lot of contributions and you guys allow me to really get it out maybe at the middle of the month or a week before the end. So the more support I get, the quicker I can get these out. So I just want to say thank you in advance for everybody that's made this possible before and anyone that's considering doing it today. All right, finally, there is a way that doesn't involve anything but a few clicks, and this really also helps me as well. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that now. And then after that, you can click on the third card or third link. This will take you to my website where you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also sign up for my newsletter. After doing that, if you want to take it one step further and be a rock star, you can also share this on your social media feed. And by doing that, you help me on one of my planetary goals, which is to really spread this word to as many people as possible, help give them the tools that they need to be successful, spark intuition, spark hope on the planet as well. So a couple of clicks helps me do that, and it really makes me happy as well. So thank you in advance for everyone that has listened this far and helped me so far as well. All right, let's leave you with your closing word this month. I want you to embrace the energy of, it's a weird card to look at, but death reversed. Death reversed is nothing more than transformation and change. I see it as like metamorphosis, or you could even think of it as a supernova. After a moment of destruction comes creation. You're on the precipice of creation. So whatever you need to let go of or whatever needs to fall apart this month, it's setting the stage for that beautiful supernova of light and creative energy. All that you need to kind of think about is being the conductor on this. And I'm mentioning that because of this music card. Think of yourself either as a conductor or the sun itself, which is able to orchestrate everything around it in this wonderful solar system. And I want you to start to create all of the things that you want in your life. Follow your heart, follow your path, follow your bliss. This is going to get you out of the stagnation that we see here. It may lead you out of a relationship, it may lead you out of a job or even a living situation. But the path ahead is so much more exciting. And this is basically right on the eve of morning here. So yes, you're maybe going into the unknown, but sunrise is going to be beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you create in your tomorrow. I would like to say thank you so much for allowing me to be with you for the last 40 minutes or so. You have a lot of choices online and also in life. So the fact that you wanted to spend that time with me and that I could help you on this path to enlightenment means the world to me. It really is humbling. So I wish you much love, much light, much happiness now and always. I also hope you really find your bliss. That's the main thing. I want to see you make a shift this month. Be happy, okay? Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and others as well. Bye-bye.